Good afternoon, Montgomery County. My name is Joe Corona. I am the Community Outreach Coordinator for the Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. And the Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security is pretty much charged with coordinating events throughout Montgomery County for any emergency or disaster. And with coordinating events, we have a lot of different partners within Montgomery County that have a role in response. You know, it's not us that all the time. Fire, police, first responders always have a big role in emergencies and disasters. And we wanted to take the opportunity to highlight some of those partners in a segment we're going to call Partner Spotlight. And this is December 14th, 2017, and we're actually on the 5-year anniversary of Sandy Hook. And so with that opportunity, we wanted to bring one of our partners, Montgomery County Public Schools, and talk about safety in schools. So I'd like to introduce you to Mike Harting. Mike, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Michael Harting. I'm the Cluster Security Coordinator for the Down County Consortium in Montgomery County Schools. That includes all the schools that feed into Blair, Einstein, Northwood, and Kennedy High School.
Well, nice to see you come here and talk about school safety. You know, it's a big concern, me being a parent and me being an emergency manager. That was a really sad day in the history. And we want to talk about how things have changed since then. What is it that you and your office do? How do you work with schools to kind of work on their emergency plans and keep kids safe?
Sure. In my office, there are 6 cluster security coordinators that are spread out through the county. We each have about 35 or 36 schools, and we take care of all their safety and security needs. We're basically a resource for the principals and the administration of the school for anything concerning safety, security, legal issues, or any other type of safety issues with playground equipment or other issues throughout the school itself.
All right. So you work with them on a yearly basis to kind of update plans and things like that?
Absolutely. Each one of the schools in Montgomery County does have a school emergency plan. It's a 9-page document that has a lot of information on there that talks about locations for evacuation routes. It also talks about biographical information of the school itself, contact information, who's in charge during an emergency. We actually have backups for several different positions on what's called an on-site emergency team. So we do have an incident commander as well as 2 backups for that, as well as several other people filling in roles such as logistics and operations and other support roles for the emergencies that may play out.
And it being the 5-year anniversary of Sandy Hook, tell me about schools and active shooters, how you work with specifically for that event.
Certainly. Since Columbine, actually, Montgomery County Public Schools started working on a program that dealt with what was called Code Blue and Code Red. And since that time, we've changed it to common language of lockdown, evacuation, and shelter. And for active shooters in particular, we participate in a program called Lockdown. And so if there is ever imminent danger either inside of our school or on our school property, the school will go into a lockdown. It's a drill that every student practices every year, along with several other drills I believe that we're going to talk about here shortly. But basically what it does is it tells the students, staff, and visitors to get to the nearest securable location whenever there is a active shooter or a lockdown type of an event, and then secure themselves where they are and make that place look like it's a secured empty room or space. And then they stay there until their resources such as police or fire come and assist them.
And this is practiced a lot of times throughout the year for kids?
Absolutely. We have 5 fire drills every year. We have 8 in schools that are not fully sprinklered. And then we also do the lockdown, evacuation, shelter, reverse evacuation, drop, cover, hold, and a severe weather event shelter as well. So we practice drills all throughout the year, yes.
And what about other emergencies besides active shooters and active assailants? How do you prepare kids and work with schools on those kind of events?
We also practice drills for bomb threats and gas leaks in the building and things of that nature. So all students are trained what to do and where to go if we have to evacuate to certain locations. During a fire drill, students have to leave the building by the nearest possible exit and only go to 50 feet away from the building. But if there is a bomb threat or a gas leak or any other type of an event where there may be severe damage or explosion to the building, we do have our students go 300 feet away from the building. And once again, in that school emergency plan, those locations are actually identified, so all the students and staff in the building know where to go and what to do.
And so parents of kids in schools, where do they go? Where do they get information?
The parents can always call the school directly to get information about their school's emergency plan. Schools, of course, aren't going to share a whole lot of information about exactly where students go, but they can call my office at 301-279-3066, and we will direct them to their cluster security coordinator, and then that security coordinator can assist them with some more information if possible.
And that's basically for parents who are concerned about some of the safety in their kids' school. But during an event, how do parents get informed of what's going on in the school, and where do they go and things like that?
Depending upon the exact type of an emergency and exactly what is happening at the school will reach out to their central office, and then the central office can send out a Connect Ed message to all parents and families in that community to let them know what's going on. If there's going to be a different location for pickup, maybe if we have to evacuate the school and go to a local church or synagogue or library, then that information would be shared in that Connect Ed message. And other ways that some schools may use, like an email blast or something of that nature, and get that information to those parents to let them know there'll be a different time of release, or maybe a different location, or if at all possible, what exactly is happening at the school at that time.
Okay, because it's important for parents. I mean, obviously during an emergency, their main priority, their main concern is their child, but having all these parents coming to the school is not really the best thing for them, and especially if the school is in a dangerous situation. You want to make sure that you're open to that information as a parent to going to where they're supposed to be going.
Exactly,
Yeah.
And we do have something called a parent-child reunification, that every school has a plan for that reunification as well. And we have people that are in charge of that plan at the school, and that's in their emergency plan. And it does talk about if by chance we were to go have to dismiss the school early, or maybe move to another location, the parents should come with their IDs in hand, and then we would work with them to release their students in a timely manner. It may be, once again, in the cafeteria we would have to do this if a part of the building is damaged, or maybe go out to the field area and do it there, or possibly, once again, go off-site and go somewhere nearby. But all that information would be transmitted through the Connect Ed message or an email blast to let them know where to go and what to do.
What is since it's the anniversary of Sandy Hook, what things have changed in schools since then? Can you tell us about how security is improved within schools
Certainly.
and things like that?
So Montgomery County Schools is really taking the lead in trying to better our safety and security for the schools and the school system. So one of the things we've done is we've locked all the exterior doors of the building. That's the general practice now, and the best practice that we've found. So all the exterior doors are supposed to be secured all day. We do have a main entrance access control system where a visitor will come up to the front door. They'll push a buzzer, and then someone in the office will see who they are, speak to them over the PA system, and then buzz them in, and then they'll come into the main office. Then when they're in the main office, if they're there to come and visit and actually move into the building, they will actually sign into what's called the visitor management system, and that checks the name against the Maryland sex offenders list to ensure that whoever is coming into our building is authorized and able to be in the building. We've also added other card readers for other pieces of parts of the building, so staff can come in the back of the building if necessary. We've also put in more cameras in some schools, and then of course we have a heightened awareness now of safety and security, and are trying to look at new trends across the country and see what other possible issues are coming up, and we're moving forward on those types of programs if possible.
So we talked about public schools and the work that you do with public schools. What about the individual schools? What about like the private schools within Montgomery County? A lot of parents have their kids in
Sure.
those schools. What kind of work do you do with those?
So when we started working on the lockdown evacuation shelter many years ago, it was a grant that we got through the federal government, and part of that grant said that we would work with private schools as well. So any private schools in the county that have reached out to us, we are working with them on the same program of lockdown evacuation shelter. A cluster coordinator will bring them a template of the school emergency plan, and then they can look through that, and we work with them on the drills as well.
Great. And talk to me about the website and some of the videos that I think you guys have done
Sure.
regarding
Okay,
safety.
Montgomery County Public Schools has put together a very nice set of videos, and you can go to the Montgomery County Public Schools website, which is montgomeryschoolsmd.org, and then go to the safety and security page. There are several videos that are only about 7 minutes long. There's one for the community that talks about lockdown evacuation and shelter and what they need to know. There's another one for elementary school, another for middle school, and another one for high school level students, and explaining what they need to do and listening to adults where they need to go and explaining the different pieces and parts to lockdown evacuation and shelter.
Great. So is there anything, leaving the segment and talking about all safety within schools, is there anything you want to tell parents to discuss with kids about safety, or anything,
Certainly.
any kind of resources you want to tell them about?
Sure. Go to our website, because there is a lot of good information there with those videos, but also make sure that your students participate in the drills when we do them at the schools. The entire school does take part at the same time, but it is good for the students to be able to follow directions of the adults that they're with at that time, listening to the announcements that are being said over the PA system, and then just follow the directions and take part.
Thank you again for your time. Again, this is our Partner Spotlight segment. We want to highlight some of the partners that we deal with in Montgomery County on a day-to-day basis, and show the county how many different agencies and organizations are involved in the safety of Montgomery County residents. I hope you've gotten some information from this. If you have any questions or concerns, you can send it to emergency.management@montgomerycountymd.gov. That's our email website for our office, and we'll hopefully be able to answer that as quickly as possible. Otherwise, you can make comments on the YouTube page for this video, and we look forward to providing you some more information about a different partner. Thank you so much for tuning in.